Hey folks, welcome. Thanks for checking this out. If you're new to this channel or myself or the videos and stuff that I make, my name is Daniel Christopher. I am the peace farmer. I am creating peace by being peace, living peace, and growing peace. Because if we can create an ecological abundance through our lifestyle, our activities, our choices, and if we can share that abundance with others, then all of a sudden we have created a beautiful way of life and also a way out of this artificial, scarcity-driven system of exploitation and corruption. We need a full-blown revolution, and it has to start with your heart. You have to change your heart. You have to go deep inside and rewire everything and wake up and make a prayer to the cosmic everythingness or whatever you vibe with there. Connect up, reach up with that thing and say, I want to become a unit of harmony. I want to become a vessel of sweet, loving vibrations. I no longer want to be this conduit of evil, exploitative manipulation and self-indulgence. I want to become a living, breathing embodiment of beauty and peace. And then all of a sudden, there you go. All the tools will be in your hands, and you'll magically find all the right people who you're meant to connect with, your soul family, your tribe. And you'll get out there and you'll find your own little patch of the earth, and you'll start digging in and dropping seeds and cultivating the planet. And once we do this everywhere, all of a sudden there will be a serious alternative independent culture globally. You'll be able to go anywhere and find people like this who have created an oasis in their region, and they've networked in their area with all the right people. The people who know how to build with wood, the people who know how to melt down steel and turn it into hand tools, and the people who have all the different resources and skills that is needed to have a tight-knit, local-based society. That's what we're moving back towards. This whole global empire of colonization and slavery and capitalism, it's all over. It's done with. It's done what it had to do. It's done a lot of damage. It's done maybe a little bit of good. It's shown us a lot of things about ourselves and what's going on inside of our hearts. And now it's time to evolve and move out of that. So I invite you all to join me. Hopefully it creates some inspiration for people about what is possible in a short amount of time, what you can get together and do with your friends in a backyard or someone's land or whatever it is. So this space that we have growing on now, I just finished today. I planted 2,250 square feet of soil with a bunch of different crops, baby leafy greens, root vegetables, herbs, stuff like that. And we got out here, we started working on September 7th. Now it's the 10th of October. So it's been a little over a month since we started. But I would say technically this has all happened in about 3 weeks of actual labor, because I live an hour and a half away from here. So I'm not able to just come out here and work whenever. I can only come down here sometimes, and when I do, I usually just camp out and knock out as many things as I can. This is the first area that we started with. So all these plants in here are about 1 month old. We've got turnips, arugula, cilantro, beets, lettuce, carrots, lots of beautiful things. So this style of farming is really, it's way more revolutionary than I think most people have understood yet. I know that at this point, market farming and organic agriculture and regenerative agriculture and sustainability, all these big hot topic buzzwords, they're gaining popularity now, but the real implications of all this is that we don't need to depend on oil companies, pesticide companies, Monsanto, Roundup, giant tractors, tillers, none of that. It can all go, because we have new ways that are actually very old ways of growing food and providing an abundance of natural resources in a way that is ecologically sound and harmonious. And the best tool to do all this is the human body. This vessel right here, it's so agile and it's so dynamic that we can squeeze into tight spaces and still somewhat comfortably work. And we can do tons of work with just hand tools. So we don't need the tractors and the tillers anymore. We don't have to come in here and rip up the earth just to try and grow food and supposedly feed the world, which no one is really doing. That's not the intention of any of these giant companies. They might use that as their slogan and their motto, but they're not interested in feeding the world, that's for sure. I wanted to give a tour of what's been happening here and what you can do in 3 weeks of time, basically. So every time I came out here, I would just work up another block and plant it out. And this whole thing is being irrigated by a really simple overhead sprinkler system. I've just got these dispersed every 25 feet or so. They're just simple hoses, sprinklers on a post with a spring clamp. And this is a hoop house that I'm building. I think we're getting into about maybe $700 or $800 on how much this cost. So it's definitely an investment, but it's worth it because it holds so much more heat throughout the winter. It's basically like a giant battery that's holding the solar power inside it and growing tons of beautiful vegetables. So anyone can build this. I like this style of greenhouses because it doesn't take a lot of engineering or carpentry skills. Everything is very, very flexible. It's 20-foot PVC 1-inch pipes that are held in the ground by rebar, and then the whole thing is strong simply because these cedar posts going down the center and this wooden center ridge pole that's in case it gets a heavy snow load. Other than that, it doesn't have to be very strong. No one's gonna walk on top of this thing. It's just got to hold the snow. That's the hardest thing it has to go through. So yeah, anyone can do this. Seriously, there's definitely a learning curve at the beginning. It took me a few years to actually understand how this all works, how it fits together, all the different moving parts. But it's very, very, very simple. And it's so natural. It becomes effortless. It just becomes like a dance. You're just coming out here and you're playing around and you're frolicking through the little field and dropping seeds and pulling weeds, and all of a sudden in a couple weeks you're eating tons of food and you no longer have to depend on the supply chains, which are everywhere we hear they're running short. So this is really the answer. This is the way out. This is how we exit this corrupt, capitalistic, industrial, toxic wasteland. You get together with your friends, you find a plot of the earth, and you dig in. Have fun, learn as you go, put all the pieces together. Like, I didn't know anything when I got started, but and that's funny too, because I grew up on a giant farm. My dad is a typical conventional GMO corn, bean farmer and cow rancher, but I never knew how to grow actual food. I was never taught that. And so gradually over time, through my own understandings and experiences and journeys, I started to realize I don't know a damn thing about how to feed myself or survive. I don't know anything about real life. All I know is this artificial fake system around me that I'm totally stuck inside, and I want to get out. So anyway, I've put a couple grand into this project. Most of the money has come from people's donations who are on my social media pages. I've also put in a large amount of money myself. Most of the things here are stuff I already had, so I just brought them over here from Illinois, where I was farming before. And yeah, so we got this hoop house here. I'm really excited about that. And then the rest of the area is going to be covered with little tiny miniature greenhouses using these metal pipes that I bent in a semicircle and put a piece of plastic tubing in the ground. And it'll be about probably $400 of these pipes and other materials to cover this entire area. It is the middle of October now, and so it's starting to get pretty chilly, and before too long we're going to reach the point of the year where there's not much sunlight and not much heat. So if you get your cold hardy plants in the ground by late summer and early fall, they will be mature enough to handle the cold, but you have to keep them protected and covered, because if they get wet, what happens is it will freeze and it will kill the cells within the plant and they die. But if you can keep them dry with plastic or other materials, but I'm going to use greenhouse plastic, then the food will just grow all the way through the winter time. Here is some salad mix. Here is some lettuce. Starting to come through here and weed it out. This is a big bed of beets.